Today I want to talk about Julian Love and why I think he has a chance to be the starting cornerback 2 next year, assuming that DeAndre Baker is either suspended or cut by then. So I posted it on Twitter yesterday night, I think it was, and I said, why are people counting out Julian Love as a starting cornerback on the outside for this team? And the main answer was basically speed. He's not fast enough, which I get, but for an outside corner, I don't worry about a guy running a 4.54 40, whatever it was, and that's going to tell me he can't play on the outside. I don't buy that personally. So there are many other players that have ran slower 40s that have had great NFL careers on the outside. We'll get into that later, but we'll do some film review stuff. I'll go over a slide about why I'm not worried about the 40 time, who he's going to be competing with, and this is all assuming DeAndre Baker's out. So if he ends up playing all 16 games next year, then this is all a moot point. But at the same time, we're kind of struggling for content out here, so I figured this would be a good idea just in case, DeAndre Baker's off the roster. I have a lot of faith in Julian Love being an outside cornerback. That's what we drafted him for. That's what he did at Notre Dame. This guy was like a runner-up for the Jim Thorpe Award in college, so obviously he's got some outside cornerback skills, but for some reason people don't think it can translate to the NFL. So my other announcement is that I'm going to make a second channel for other sports videos, just not Giants related stuff. So if you're interested in general NFL videos, MLB, NBA, I'm putting them on a different channel. I'll put the link in the description. I want to make this more of a mainly Giants channel because that's what most people are subscribed here for. If you're interested in general sports stuff, then go ahead and subscribe over there. Hopefully you do it to both. That would be great. But yeah, I'll put the link in the description and hopefully you guys check out that channel as well. So with that being said, let's get into the Julian Love video. So here on the top right, you can see some of his combine metrics, and the thing I want to touch on really is the 40 time because people are concerned about the speed. And I somewhat agree with that. I was not a fan of his quickness. I think he's fast, but I didn't like the quickness too much, which is why I was kind of I don't want to see this guy in the slot. And I've kind of said that since I saw, I think it was either the Patriots game or the Bengals game in the preseason last year, and he was getting torched by Edelman and maybe Tyler Boyd, I forget who it was, but he was not doing too well in the slot, and I was like, yeah, I don't want to see him there. I don't think he has the speed for it, but as an outside cornerback, I thought he could be fine. So some guys that ran slower 40 times than him, and his 40 time was 4.54 seconds. Richard Sherman, we know him, of course, great outside corner, Seahawks, Niners, 4.56. Joe Hayden, great with the Browns, the Steelers, 4.57. Josh Norman was at one time great with the Panthers, had a couple decent seasons with the Redskins. He ran a 4.57 as well. Xavier Howard, he was an elite corner a couple years ago, got hurt last year, I believe. He had a 4.58. And then Marcus Peters was only a tenth of a second better. So, I mean, these are good cornerbacks, and this guy is either beating them or just 1/10 of a second off from them. So, I don't think Julian Love running a 4.54 40 is going to put a nail in the coffin for him being an outside corner. That's just me. So, Love's agility score, according to Player Profiler, is in the 92nd percentile, which of course is phenomenal. Of course, if you have great agility, it can only help you as a cornerback, and of course, if you're going to be a cornerback, you have to be pretty damn athletic. It's a very athletic position, so it's great to see that. And another reason I believe it could happen is because his competition at outside cornerback is not that great. So Sam Beal's one of them. I mean, he has not played a full season yet, and even when he played last year, I wasn't all that impressed. I mean, I liked him in the Dolphins game, but that's really the only time I was kind of surprised in a good way by the way Sam Beal was playing. And the guy has some type of chronic shoulder injury stuff going on, so who knows if he'll make it through a full season. Then there's Corey Ballantyne, who, as we saw last year, could not play in the slot. There were times where teams literally just went out of their way to target him in the slot. I remember the Bears game with Allen Robinson. That was terrible. So he's not going to be in the slot. He could be an outside guy. Some people love Corey Ballantyne. I don't know how I feel about him. I'd rather have Julian Love. That's just me, but I'm not going to argue about that one. There's Chris Williamson, who the Giants took in the draft in the 7th round this year. The guy's a lanky player, has potential, but he couldn't tackle for his life, to be honest, when I watched him on tape. So I think they only had about 2 games of him on YouTube where they showed every snap, but from what I saw, a lot of tackling concerns. So can he be a good cover corner? Maybe, but I think Julian Love right now is a better tackler for sure. And then I put down here possible veteran, so I'm not sure if it's going to be, as I always say, Brandon Carr or something like that. I don't even know who else is out there. I made a video for it on the other channel, but I forget now. So Tremaine Brock, I think, is another one. So there are some decent players out there. Depends if the Giants want to go that route or stick with the younger guys. They have 3 or 4 options for younger guys to play outside corner, but it depends what they want to go with. So, look, if Julian Love is the outside cornerback, is all I'm saying, I would not be surprised. So, I think after this, we're going to get in some film review stuff. We're going to show some stuff from him in the slot last year, and then some college tape on the outside. And I'll try to prove to you guys that he can do it. I know college and NFL is different, but I think some of the receivers he went against in these college videos are NFL talents, I believe. So it's not that far off at least. So yeah, I just think he can do it. I mean, I hope the Giants give him a shot. I know last year they wanted him to be a safety because it made sense, but now, a year later, the Giants weren't expecting DeAndre Baker to be off the team, which seems like a legitimate possibility at this point. So we'll have to see about that one. Of course, as I said, if he's not suspended, if he's not released, this whole thing might be worthless, but we have to live in the reality that the guy might have robbed somebody and pulled a gun and all that type of stuff. So we'll have to see what happens. But yeah, let's get into the film review. So I'm going to show some slot corner examples right here. I'm pretty sure he's in as a safety here, but based on what the Eagles are running and what the Giants are doing over here with their linebackers, and I guess maybe he is a cornerback here because I think this is Michael Thomas's number, so maybe based on the personnel, he had to be the slot corner here. But this is the stuff I didn't like to see. I mean, there was too much separation when he was in the slot. I didn't like his footwork, his quickness too much, and it was him taking a wrong step, and I really think it's because he doesn't trust his speed. So right there, this step right here, he kind of takes a step towards the outside, as you can see. That step should have been here, like going towards the sideline. Once he takes this step right there outside, you're done. I mean, that's when a guy gets 2-3 yards of separation, and I guess this is Greg Ward, I think it is, makes a catch for a first down. So stuff like that cannot happen as a slot corner. So this is the same game, and I think it was an incomplete pass, but it should have been completed. So here's Love right here. He's covering Ward once again in the slot. He's going to break outside, a similar route to the last time we saw it, but luckily for him it was dropped. But once again, it's just too much of he's just waiting to see what the receiver's going to do. Sometimes you have to take a bit of a gamble as a slot corner, especially when you have a safety back here helping you. But, I just think it's too much of him waiting and reacting. So right there, when you see him break out, I mean, Julian Love has to be a bit quicker there, and obviously by this point he has enough separation, and if the throw is perfect, which it pretty much was, could have been outside a bit more, it's going to be a completion. So obviously you have to be closer to your guy there if you are Julian Love, and there was some cushion given right there. Obviously you could have pressed up on him more. I'm sure that was more of a James Betcher issue because they just hated playing press man for some reason, especially on third down situations. So yeah, luckily it was incomplete for them, but on a play like this, the coverage had to be better. And here's a play from the last preseason game against the Patriots when he was number 37, so it was a while ago. But it's against Julian Edelman here, who's one of the best slot receivers in football. And once again, it's just too much reacting and doesn't even use his hands or anything like that. And yeah, just 2 yards, 3 yards separation, almost caused a fumble at the end, which was great. But the separation here is just too easy for a guy like Edelman. So I don't expect Julian Love to make an impact on a guy like Edelman. But at the same time, when this stuff is happening, it just shows me that you're probably not slot corner material. So we knew this already. I think most of us knew that already. So with this being said now, let's get into some Notre Dame film where the film does get a lot better for Julian Love. So here's the first one. Love's on top of the screen here on the outside. He's against Nico Collins, who's a pretty good wide receiver. He puts up good numbers, especially for who his quarterback is. And he stays stride for stride with him this entire deep ball. So I love what I saw there for sure. The throw was, of course, terrible, but still, at the same time, if I'm just watching the speed here, that is stride for stride right there. So I like what I saw from Love there. It would have taken a perfect inside throw for this to be completed. I think Love had great position on this the whole time. Definitely did not look slow on this play. So how does Love react when he has to show off his instincts and agility? We'll see it on the bottom of the screen right here. They try to run a quick curl against him, and he was all over it. Just gets his hand in there, makes a great play. So that's another one where I would say that's a great job by him. I think they show a replay. Looks clean to me. I would be kind of annoyed if a ref called a penalty on that one. I would say clean, gets that left hand in there, does it correctly in my opinion. And the instincts, I mean, he's all over it. So right about He's backpedaling, notices it here. You see him right here. He's ready for it. And then I'll play it slow for you guys. He is all over it. So I think it was a great job by Love. If he was a half a second quicker, this would have been a pick six. But, anyway, it's a great play by him and great reaction time as well. So here's another play on a deep ball. This one's against Kelvin Harmon, I believe. He's a good player for the Redskins now. He's not the fastest guy, but still, he might be a good receiver one day. But once again, Love is pretty much stride for stride. I mean, he wasn't as good as last time, but still, I like what I saw here. Once again, he just backpedals. I think they were playing soft coverage this whole game. They were kind of daring them to go deep based on the defense they were playing. And the reaction time is pretty good. So, as I said, Harmon doesn't have blazing speed here, but he does all he can, gets his head turned around as well, and really does not give up much ground to Harmon. It would have taken a perfect throw somewhere right here instead of here, but still, I think Love did a pretty good job on this play for what his defensive coordinator was asking of him. So once again, they try Love on the bottom of the screen here with one of those curl routes, and he is once again all over it. So I love what I see here from the instincts and the agility, all that type of stuff. That's great. They won a penalty. I didn't really see it the first time I watched it. So, I mean, the way he stops right there is actually it's really good. I mean, right there, his change in direction is awesome. I love that. And yeah, I would not say that's a penalty. I don't think that warrants a penalty. I know his right hand is on his hip and whatnot, but still, I would not call that a penalty. That's a great play by a corner. So you see him get his left hand in there once again, but I think the footwork here is really good. The reaction time right there, he's kind of running this route with him, so I think this was a great job by Love. And if he can do this in the NFL, the Giants have themselves a really good cornerback too, so I'd be very satisfied with that. So this was one of the few bad plays I saw. He's on top of the screen here. I think the receiver runs a double move, and he got absolutely torched here. And I think this is Ryan Finley at quarterback. I don't know who the receiver is, but we'll see the replay here. So here's Love, and he definitely bites for it, goes outside, and as I said last time, he was running the route with him. That time he anticipated what the route was, thought it was an out route. Turns out he just did a fake out and turned upfield. So right there, Love's thinking, okay, he's probably going out here somewhere, but he just stutter steps and then once again breaks deep. And by that point, Love was just left in the dust, and I think a little bit of a better throw there might have been a touchdown. So luckily it wasn't for him, but on this type of stuff, you can't fall for these double moves. These type of things will happen in the NFL, so he has to be ready for it. But this is back from 2017 or 2018, so hopefully he learned from that. But better he experiences it now in college than in the pros, so it's fine with me. So they didn't show a good replay here like some of the other ones, but this might have been another attempt at a double move here. So this time he's all over it, so he's on the bottom of the screen here, and I think it's against Harmon once again. So they don't show the replay, but I'm pretty sure he stutter steps right as he's about to exit the picture. You can see Love was with him basically the whole way. So watch Harmon on the bottom of the screen. I'll play it really slow for you guys. I think at this point, I feel like he was just I don't know what he was doing exactly. I wish there was a better camera angle, but I feel like he might have been slowing down there. I feel like he was kind of just, I don't know. I really wish I was able to see here, but I think at one point he was trying to slow down and hoping that they can get Love on a double move once again. This time he did not fall for it and did a good job of staying with him. I'll try to see how much separation there was on this play. Honestly, not much at all. Doesn't get his head turned around, it looks like, but at the same time, he stayed with him and it had to be a perfect throw. So this play for Love was a gift. It was one of those pick sixes that a quarterback just hands to you, but I had to put it in here. So he's on the bottom of the screen here. I think they're in zone, looked like a cover 3 from the other replay, and it was just easy. So he does a good job here of having patience and gets all his blockers out in front of him. He never panics, never tries to run too fast, and is able to get in there for a touchdown. So good for Julian Love right there. He always seems to be around the ball, which I like about him as well. So here he is. Looks like it's a cover 3. Think so, and then we have him just cutting off this pass easily. I don't even think the receiver saw it, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't even think the receiver turned back until it was too late. At this point is when he turns back. Love sees the ball already. He's all over it, and it's just too late. So a terrible throw there by Finley, I think it is, and he takes it back for a pick 6. So a nice job there by Julian Love. Gotta love the instincts once again, and the ability to just take it for 6. So here's the last game we'll show against Vanderbilt. I think this is Pat Shurmur's son actually at quarterback. He makes a good throw here, I'm not going to lie. So Julian Love is right here, and the receiver's going to run a slant route on the inside, obviously. The receiver gets inside leverage right there. So at this point, obviously, if you're a receiver going to run it inside, he has all the leverage at this point. And right there, does a good job of separating. I don't know if he uses, hand there to push off, maybe, but still, quarterback, Mr. Shermer there makes a good throw. But the thing I liked about Love there is that sometimes cornerbacks will kind of give up on plays like this when they know they're beat. He stays with them and just makes the shoestring tackle. So I like that for sure. Didn't give up on it. Didn't have to rely on his other defenders to make that play for him. But as I said, once a cornerback gives inside leverage on an inside route, you're pretty much done for. I mean, only the best of the best can get out of that situation. So it is what it is. So here's Love on the bottom. He prevents a touchdown on this play. I like what I saw there. Does a good job pressing him a bit, pushing him outside and using the sideline to his advantage. So we'll just show it from the beginning here. So Love on the bottom of the screen right here gets his hands on him pretty early. They're battling and doesn't make the route easy for him. So you see him push him here to the sideline and uses that to his advantage. So now the receiver only has such little room to work with. I think Shermer makes a throw that might have been a bit short. Kind of probably should have let it out here more towards the inside of the field. But I think Julian Love, although he doesn't get his head turned around, I think other than that, did a really fantastic job even before the ball was released of getting the receiver where he wants him and pushing him outside. So I like what I saw on this play as well. And I don't know who's running this route. I don't know which receiver this is. But at the same time, does a really good job there of preventing that deep ball from happening. So here's the Playman Coverage, bottom of the screen against Kalijah Lipscomb, who is a player for I think he's on the Chiefs. He did go undrafted, but he is possibly an NFL talent, so a decent player here. He runs a crosser, and I think Julian Love does a great job here staying with him. I mean, this, once again, isn't the fastest player. I think his 40 time was actually 4.57, so I think Love had him beat a bit. But right here, I think does a great job. So, I mean, if this was a different receiver who ran a 4.3, maybe it ends differently. And as you can see, the throw obviously was not that great, and I think Love was mad at himself for not making this interception. You can see the clap there, but obviously could have been a better throw, but I like what I saw there for sure. So right at this moment is when he really starts to turn up and just, really uses his speed to his advantage. So, I mean, yeah, it's a bad throw. I understand that, but at the same time, when you can make a play on the ball, I think you're doing a great job there. So it would have taken a perfect throw. It didn't happen, and I give Love a lot of credit for that play. So here's Love against Lipscomb once again. He's going to run a slant route. And last time we saw Love on a slant route, he kind of got caught on the receiver's hip and was beat on the inside. This time does a great job running the route with him, and maybe there was some contact beforehand, but does a great job of getting his hand in there and making a play. So the refs did not throw a flag here. I guess they could have, but I probably wouldn't have. I think that's fine. But as I said last time he was on the receiver's hips, and to make it easier, the receiver did cut in earlier, so that's definitely easier. And I think last time they were more on the inside part of the field, so it made it tougher. But now they're more outside, which is what I think will disguise some of Love's inefficiency with the speed. I think playing him outside will hide some of that stuff, and this time he's able to run the slant route with him and get his hand in there and make a great play. Okay, yeah, this one was bad. I had to put this one in here for sure, or else it wouldn't be fair. I'm just trying to show the good and the bad. So this was a route where he goes in and out, but I think Love might have been watching the quarterback a bit too much here. He just got absolutely fooled and missed the tackle. I mean, I forgot about that part. So this whole thing was terrible. I probably shouldn't even show this, but I'm trying to be good for you guys here. So the separation here, what is that? 8 yards of separation, 10. I mean, it was terrible. But if you watch Julian Love's eyes right there, I don't even know if he's looking at the receiver at this point. I feel like he's more watching the quarterback's eyes, and I don't know if he expected the receiver to kind of just sit down here and do like a curl, but that's not what the case was. So he just fakes going in, then goes outside, and Love was completely fooled, and much separation, easy throw right there. So obviously the missed tackle sucked, the coverage sucked, and that's a play that you want to forget about. Hopefully he had short-term memory on a play like that. So here's the last play. Is on the bottom of the screen. There's going to be another curl route, and I don't know if the ball went through the receiver's hands or not, but this is a forced incompletion, so I give Love some credit here. The beginning of the route, I like what I saw. He was definitely a bit handsy. There was some press coverage going on at least, and you see him kind of push him outside here, which I like for sure. Don't let the receiver run his route easily, and definitely contested that catch. So I don't know if it went through his hands or not. It kind of looks like it did from this angle, but at the same time he was just right next to him, so there was not much separation there anyway. So I give Love a lot of credit for that play as well. So that'll do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Maybe this changed your opinion on the people that think Julian Love can't play outside corner in the NFL, and I don't want to let you think that a 4.5 40 should negate that. So I know it's not the greatest 40 time for a cornerback. I know they're supposed to be 4.3, 4.4 guys, but it's not a must is what I'm saying. So if DeAndre Baker is out for some reason next year or not on this team, then I think this could be the starting cornerback outside opposite of James Bradberry. It would not surprise me too much. I know people love Ballantyne. Some people have high hopes about Sam Beal. I am not one of those people, not to be a pessimistic person, but it's just my honest opinion. So if Love was the starter next year, I would not be surprised. I expect Darnay Holmes to be the starting slot guy. Of course, Bradberry. Hopefully Holmes has a good training camp in preseason if they have that, so let's hope for that. But yeah, I think Julian Love could be that guy on the outside. I think he'd be pretty solid. There is some stuff he has to work on, obviously, and Julian Love's the type of cornerback that doesn't really have much room for error, because really fast cornerbacks can make some mistakes, but they can make up for it with their speed. Julian Love kind of has to be perfect and kind of use some other things to his advantage. So we'll see if he can figure it out. I think this is a guy, you know, we talked to him back on Fireside, and he said he can play anywhere. Seems like a guy who just wants to be out on the field, which I respect. So hopefully the Giants give him that playing time next year. It took them a long time to play him last year, that's for sure. So hopefully he starts next year, and hopefully he plays well. I'm rooting for him. Definitely a good guy. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Not sure what we'll talk about next time, but I'm sure some type of news will come up. So I'll talk to you guys next time.